This is a view of the Capitol from what they call the plaza, and it is a big deal, full of big buildings. And I'm guessing each one of these buildings you see on the right is some branch of the government, state government. But you see, now that's what you can do with other people's money, right there. That's impressive. It appears they're getting ready for some sort of a demonstration. I see they've already got one laid out there on the stage. That's a museum of some sorts. Some sort of a church. And then looking back over that mess, I don't think Washington D.C.'s got much on these guys. USS Slater 766. Fixing to take a tour on the Hudson River. Not exactly like that, but anyway.
We'll start off right here. The ship, you know pretty much what's going on. It's just like you walking around your house. If I went there, I wouldn't know it, but you could take me around and say, yeah, this is the bedroom, this is the living room, type thing. You know, that's what we're doing here. So what you got here is the galley, what you call a kitchen. This is where some of them came out here to be volunteers as tour guides. We had to explain to them that this is important, just like I'm telling you. They'd never seen one before. They're not allowed in here. A yeoman was always allowed in here. The other rating that was allowed in here, which we don't have anymore in the Navy, is called steward. It's like I've seen, I was in a DePaul Chevrolet the other day where my son works, and people were asking a lot of questions about a car. Sometimes people just go in and say, oh, that's a nice car, I'm going to buy it. You know, so it can be the same thing. I mean, you know, like anything else in life. Hey, what you got is, this is the tray, as we were just saying, that they enlisted ate on. And the mess cooks that I told you about, they served the food. When you sat down, you could legally, what we call, scuttle talk here. Scuttle is a social word for, we use the word scuttle. Right behind this gentleman is a drinking fountain. We call that a scuttle. Now, one of the girls that we have that works for us gave an illustration of it the other day that was incorrect. And when I see her the next time, that's Julianne. She's usually pretty smart, but she really goofed this one up. She said the word scuttlebutt means that you fill red lights in here. And it had, in those days, you know, the equipment so they could have what we call the ears of the ship, which is the sonar, and what we had here, which is the radar. Now that's a sound right there. It's going to be another one coming up. It's named telegraph. This is the gyro compass that they put the ship on. Of course, the 3 sound phones are over there by this young man. What you have is the JL head talker. I just told you one of the jobs I did. They have one in there for main control, goes down to the engine room. And then they have another one for the guy that's working up on the top side, up in the signalman, up the signal bridge. And usually it's still the Navy. Different looking uniform, different personnel, but it's really the Navy yet. So it's a great institution to get involved in and learn something. I must have been a good recruiter because my son wants to go. Once again, when they go to general quarters, they wear a helmet. Okay? It's tradition. They don't run up to the gun with their hats on. So like they do today modern times for some reasons, so they seatbelt you in here and send you to a ship that would have that big. The other use for it is to hang it over the side, which I saw somebody had used to hang up there a couple of times. You heard the guy in the movie there say 75, that's 75 feet. They don't use meters or anything like that. 75 was a good guess in World War II because the submarine, as I told you earlier, is going back down to 8.5. That was an OMS. If they ever invited me on one of their networks, I would ask them that question. The answer's going to be they didn't know. They'd probably send somebody out to find out and see I was right. Maybe they would start doing it. I know a couple of months ago I was watching something.
Deck crew.
Okay. So this will be the sleeping quarters. They ever let anybody do overnights in here?
Oh yeah.
On the ship?
How far?
Alright. Go through the sleeping quarters up into the engine rooms. Got my tour guide Eric turning on the lights for us. Alright, this is walking through. The diesels are below me, and this is a deck above. Walking through, that goes up onto the deck, and it cuts through. Okay, you can see the big 12-cylinder diesels down here. Certainly a lot of place my dad will spend a lot of time in.
But to answer the question about loud, is extremely loud. Even they're 16-cylinder, about 1,500 horsepower, and they run at about 750 RPM. And the one right below us is in the final stages of actually getting it functioning again.
Okay.
So probably another month we'll have it running, I hope. We'll never propel the ship with the original equipment. Back and forth. And Lincoln's had a bit of expansion here and there.
Sure. Well, you certainly know a lot about it. How'd you get started in this, Eric?
I read a lot about the German U-boats when I was in high school.
Yeah. Huh. What are the others from? The other two pistons?
They say the little one is a lawnmower and the other one is a car.
Yeah, that looks like a Chevrolet 350 almost. You can see my hand, and you see the size of that cylinder that came from the diesel engine.
It's 8 3/4.
8 3/4. Well, that would have been thumping. It would have been miserable hot down here, bless some boys' hearts.
Oh yeah.
That would have been torture. Well, you could have served.
Well, I've been here 12 years and pick up an awful lot.
I can imagine. So,
if you want to go backwards, you turn them counterclockwise.
So the bells they send down from the bridge, whatever the bridge.
Yeah.
Then that's that, and this is where the handle moves it, like say to 2/3.
Right.
And then they would dial this to 2/3,
mm-hmm.
and then away you go. So basically, it's just a big rheostat on an electric motor.
Yep. So long as everything works, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, as simple as better, huh?
Yep. It's the only one on board that is electric start. Everything else is air start.
Now, was that the electric start of the Era, or was that fitted? It was electric start.
Yeah, that was original.
Yeah.
It's 36 volt, basically 3 car batteries. So if the ship's totally dead, you know, it's in port or something before you get underway, that's how you get it all going.
Yeah. In aircraft parlance, you'd call that an APU.
1,500.
So that's 3,000 horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got your shafts down here that power it, looking aft. And then you got the same on the opposite side, which this will be on port, and the other side being starboard.
Long black tube.
Yeah.
And that's actually a cover.
A shroud, yeah, for that.
And you can kind of make out the shaft in there.
I got you, and that will be the starboard side shaft. Now, where is the, do y'all have a machine shop on here?
Mm-hmm.
They do?
Yep.
And
So,
we're
up above us. Walk out of the recruiting center and they're put on a bus and they go right to their ship.
holy
Training.
smoke. This is the machine shop room. You see the welders there. Those are probably close to era vintage welders. Drill press and lathe, which I'm certain is not of era.
Nope.
No, that is a I almost recognize that brand. I should. I have one.